So, this shocking story begins in the 19th century, where we see several children hiding in a basement. These children are terrified of something unknown that is right outside their house and is trying to get inside. The frightened children are calling for their mother because someone is attacking her. Suddenly, the door there opens, and all the children start screaming, and that's where this scene cuts off. Now, we see a boy named Charlie who can't sleep, so he gets up and goes to the window to get some fresh air. Charlie then notices a strange shadow in his garden, as if someone is standing there and staring at him. Charlie is very scared and immediately goes to tell his mother, Christine, about it. However, Christine tells her son that he must have had a bad dream and that nothing like that could be true. Christine completely ignores Charlie's concerns. Soon after, Charlie's father, Mike, comes home. Mike takes his son to his room and manages to get him to sleep well. But Charlie again tells Mike that he saw someone standing outside the window. When Mike goes to check, he doesn't see anyone and tells Charlie to relax and go back to sleep. The next day is Halloween, when all the children go out in different costumes to ask for candy. Charlie has made a strange drawing on his iPad, which he shows to his family members. When his mother asks him about it, Charlie says that he saw something outside that looked like the drawing he made. Mike and Christine don't take it seriously, thinking it might just be a coincidence and that Charlie might be having scary dreams, which is why he is perceiving things as reality. Soon after, Charlie goes out with his friends and mother to enjoy Halloween night. Charlie's father, Mike, works as a professor at a very large university and loves teaching children. As Charlie and his mother are going with the others, they notice a very strange vulture in the sky. Although Charlie notices it, he does not say anything. And Charlie keeps telling his mother about it, but for some reason, she can't see the vulture. Mike, having finished his work, joins them for the Halloween parade. Charlie suggests they should go to the parade, but Christine says it's too late and they shouldn't go. However, Mike, without listening to Christine, takes Charlie to the huge parade, which is full of people enjoying Halloween night. As they enjoy the parade, the same unknown vulture appears above them, continuously following them. Charlie can see it clearly, but when he tells his father, Mike ignores him. Suddenly, Charlie sees a very dark shadow in front of him, which appears to be some unknown spirit. This shadow quickly makes Charlie disappear from sight. Mike doesn't understand where Charlie went, as he had been holding his hand, and now it seems like Charlie vanished into thin air. Mike starts searching for Charlie throughout the parade and even asks several police officers for help, but Charlie is nowhere to be found. Then, one police officer suggests to Mike that he should check at home, maybe Charlie went directly home from the parade. Terrified, Mike rushes home to look for his child. When Christine learns about this, she is also shocked. Christine is very angry with Mike for not managing to take care of their child and for taking him to the party despite her objections. Now, their son is missing, and Christine is upset. Christine and Mike quickly inform the police officers, who send a team to investigate. Although they haven't found any clues about Charlie yet, they assure them they will find him. The couple returns home in great despair, where Christine starts crying because she loves her son dearly. And now his son is missing. Mike is bewildered, unable to understand where his son could have gone. He had been holding his son's hand just a moment ago, but suddenly, in the next second, he vanished. This entire situation has become a mystery for Mike. Missing his son, he goes to his room and looks out the window, as he feels a presence through the window. When Mike looks back into the room, he finds his son right in front of him, looking at him with a strange expression. Mike is extremely relieved and embraces his son, asking where he had been. Charlie doesn't provide much of an answer and simply says that the thing he saw is still outside the window. When Mike looks out the window at Charlie's insistence, he sees nothing. Charlie then tells Mike to look again, and this time, when Mike looks out the window, he sees a dark shadow standing there, gradually spreading its darkness around. Mike becomes very frightened, and suddenly, he wakes up, realizing that he was dreaming. The reality is that Mike's son, Charlie, has been missing for over a year, and Mike frequently experiences such visions. Even after a year has passed, Mike has tried everything to find his son. With only 3 days remaining until Halloween night, Mike's wife had left him after blaming him for Charlie's disappearance. But Mike was determined not to give up. Every time he went to work, he put up missing posters of his son everywhere and did everything he could to find him. As Mike was going about his day, he suddenly saw his son on a bus. Mike immediately ran after Charlie and got on the bus to find him, but he was not there. As Mike was disheartened and getting off the bus, he noticed a wall with "the ghost" written on it. He was shocked because these were the kind of words Charlie used to mention. As Charlie disappears, it seems that there must be some significance to this, which Mike doesn't understand yet. Mike decides to enter the building where the words were written. This building's basement is home to many homeless people who have no shelter and lack food and drink. Upon arriving, Mike begins asking everyone about the meaning of the ghost written on the wall. Suddenly, a blind beggar approaches Mike and tells him to come over, as he can answer all his questions. However, Mike continues to inquire about the meaning of the words on the wall. The blind beggar takes Mike to the wall where the ghost is written repeatedly. Although the beggar doesn't provide any useful information, a dangerous shadow appears right behind Mike, resembling a malevolent spirit. However, the shadow disappears within seconds. Since the blind beggar didn't provide any information, Mike has to leave the building but is convinced that the words are somehow related to his son's disappearance. Mike then goes to his friend named Hannah, who has been helping him with the investigation. During this difficult time, Hannah is the only one supporting Mike while everyone else has distanced themselves from him. Mike then approaches an officer named Jordan, who is handling the case. When Mike asks Jordan about his son, Jordan doesn't provide much information and says the investigation is ongoing. Mike, frustrated, tells Jordan that the police are not doing their job properly, as he has personally found out that every year a child goes missing, with reports dating back 20 to 30 years. Mike feels that the police department is not taking him seriously, so he decides to take it upon himself to find his son, Charlie. For now, Mike goes to his wife Christine and asks her to listen to him. However, Christine is not interested in talking to Mike, as she still believes that Charlie's death is due to Mike's negligence. But now Mike manages to convince Christine to listen to him. He shows Christine all the reports and evidence he has gathered over time. He also explains the meaning of the phrase, the ghost, written in large letters on the walls of a building, which Charlie mentioned before he disappeared. Mike even tells Christine that he sometimes has visions of Charlie. However, Christine does not believe him and leaves, feeling that Mike is trying to get back together with her, which she is not interested in, as she blames Mike for losing their daughter. Feeling very alone and unsure of what to do, Mike continues the investigation, determined to find his son. That night, Christine is asleep in her room when she suddenly hears noises coming from downstairs. When Christine goes to investigate, she sees a bicycle moving on its own and then falling over, which frightens her. She quickly runs to Mike and realizes that his claims might be true, thinking that their son might be trying to communicate with them. Now both Christine and Mike decide to start investigating the case together. Their first stop is the house of a girl named Alex, who went missing during a Halloween event a few years ago. When they arrive at Alex's house, they find Alex's father deeply distressed over his daughter's disappearance. His personal life has deteriorated, and he has isolated himself from everyone and stopped going out. Mike also calls Officer Jordan to inform him that Alex, Mia, and several other children went missing on the same day as Charlie. Jordan responds that he will look into this information further. Mike then takes Christine back to her home, where she now talks to him more warmly. She even invites Mike for dinner, as it is quite late. Mike, happily enjoying dinner with his wife after such a long time, is shown having a pleasant evening. Meanwhile, Jordan is at a restaurant, conducting some inquiries. He approaches the mother of Mia, the missing girl, who used to work there. Jordan asks Mia's mother about the circumstances of her daughter's disappearance. Mia's mother explains that although her daughter has been missing for years, she still feels her presence and has visions of her. Jordan then asks Mia's mother about the ghost phrase mentioned by Mike. As soon as Jordan brings it up, a fire suddenly breaks out in the restaurant. The fire rapidly spreads towards Mia's mother, but Jordan tries to help. The fire is quickly put out. Back at Christine's house, where Mike is staying for dinner, the electricity goes out suddenly, plunging everything into darkness. While Mike is looking out the window, he sees 3 children standing there, their bodies covered. They are staring at him in a very strange manner. When Mike looks around the room, he notices many children standing in front of him, staring intensely with frightening faces. However, in the next moment, everything clears up and they disappear. When Christine returns, Mike explains what happened and what he experienced. For the first time, Christine believes Mike and agrees that this must be a message for them, and they need to investigate further. The next day, Christine calls a paranormal expert to their home. The expert, who communicates with ghosts and spirits, checks the room but does not notice anything unusual at first. However, when she approaches the nearby window, she suddenly sees many malevolent children gathered together. A gust of wind comes through the window, causing the expert to fall, and it appears as though someone is trying to strangle her. The expert is then thrown from above, and Mike and Christine are powerless against these uncontrollable events. Soon after, the expert is found dead, with smoke coming out of her eyes and mouth as if her entire body had been burned. Mike, unable to comprehend what has happened, immediately calls Jordan, who arrives with the police force. Although Mike has explained everything to Jordan, the lack of evidence leads Jordan to suspect Mike. However, Mike is not arrested at the moment, and everyone leaves with the expert's body to a distant location. That night, while Christine is asleep in her room, her iPad suddenly starts displaying a drawing similar to one Charlie had made. Upon closer inspection, Christine notices that behind the strange shadow in the drawing, there is a small child who looks exactly like Charlie, indicating that Charlie is trying to communicate something. When Mike hears noises from Christine's room, he goes to check on her. He notices that Christine is behaving very strangely and her voice has changed. Christine keeps repeating, "Papa, she is coming, and she will take me away." The reality is that Charlie's spirit has entered Christine's body and is trying to convey a message about who took him. Suddenly, Christine picks up a knife and starts harming herself. Mike shouts at her, causing Christine to fall unconscious. When she regains consciousness, she is bewildered and doesn't understand what she has done. However, the cuts on Christine's hands resemble a symbol. Mike and Christine then go to see Hannah, showing her the symbol and asking what it might mean. Since Hannah is highly interested in historical matters, she begins her research. After considerable effort, Hannah finds a story related to the symbol. She explains that many years ago, during Halloween, there was a woman who practiced dark magic. The local people had burned the woman alive, and her 3 children were also killed. This entire scene was from the beginning of the story, those children trapped in the basement and their mother being killed by the villagers. Before dying, the woman had cursed everyone, saying that on every Halloween night, she would come back and take 3 children with her. This woman and her family were Irish, and the villagers were of the Irish race, who still live in a part of New York City. If Mike and Christine wanted to know more about this, they could meet with the Irish people. Determined to find their son, Mike and Christine traveled to the place where the Irish people resided. The Irish members were dressed in strange costumes and were throwing peculiar dolls into the fire as part of a ritual. This ritual was meant to ward off the dangerous dark magic woman. Soon after, a doctor, who was the leader of the group, came to speak with them. Mike and Christine explained everything about their son Charlie, how he had disappeared, and they pleaded with the doctor to save their child. The doctor began explaining about the dangerous witch whose spirit comes every Halloween night to take 3 children with her to the underworld. The doctor believed that on Halloween night, the door to hell and the human world opened, allowing the terrifying spirit to come and take 3 children. The duration for this was fixed. The witch could only take the souls of children who had been kidnapped a year prior. This is why Charlie and several other children's spirits were trying to tell their parents that the witch was coming to take them. After hearing this, Mike and Christine felt assured that they still had a chance to save their son. However, first, they needed to find the portal that connects both worlds. At that moment, Mike received a call from Anna, who informed him that she had found out everything about the witch. The witch's name was Annie, and people had killed her because they believed she practiced dark magic and would cause harm to everyone. Anna had given Mike an address where they might find the portal. Mike and Christine headed towards this address, hoping to save their child. We then see Anna in her room, conducting her investigation. However, Annie's dangerous spirit appeared at her location. Annie's spirit immediately attacked Anna, killing her because Anna had been providing Mike and Christine with crucial information. Meanwhile, Mike took Christine to a safe place and went to the basement of a building where he heard crying sounds. Upon reaching the place, all the beggars had vanished except for a blind beggar standing right in front of him. The beggar told Mike that midnight was approaching and Annie's spirit would definitely come. Mike, pressed for time, asked the beggar how to reach the portal to the spirit world. Understanding Mike's urgency, the blind man led him to the basement and then to a bridge, saying that it was the portal Mike was searching for. He warned Mike to return before midnight, or he would be trapped there forever. Mike crossed the bridge quickly, determined to save his son. The area was filled with smoke, making it difficult for him to see anything, but he managed to cross the bridge and reach the other side. There, he found many children, spirits of those whom the witch had captured and imprisoned. Mike called out to his son, and the spirits of all the children began to raise their hands, hoping for help to return home. As Mike moved among the spirits, his hand passed through others' hands, indicating the ethereal nature of the world he was in. As the spirits of the children knew that they couldn't return, they chose to help the ones who had a chance of going back. They attacked Annie's dangerous spirit, trying to prevent her from harming anyone further. Seizing this opportunity, Mike quickly took his son, Mia, and the other boy out of the portal. As Halloween night ended, the portal closed, and Annie's dangerous spirit would return the next Halloween. Mike brought Charlie home, where Christine was overjoyed to see their son safe and sound. Although Charlie had lost his memory of the past year and only remembered the last Halloween, Mike had managed to fix everything. Christine accepted Mike back and thanked him for bringing their son home. However, the story wasn't completely over. Outside the house, the vulture from earlier was still watching Charlie and his family with a sinister gaze, suggesting that the dangerous witch might return next Halloween. And with that, our chilling story concludes.